Welcome everybody to We Geek podcast. Today is what month is it?
I think if we're gonna go
May?
with it's technically May 12th, or is it like April 42nd or like March 80th? I forget.
It
I don't
is.
know anymore, man.
Oh yeah. Well,
Uh,
when this goes up, it should, exactly it should be May 13th. Sorry, it's been a minute. We've been super busy, as the world falls apart. Um, but we're back. And yeah, man, how's you how's your couple of weeks been?
I bought a blueberry candle and played Persona, so I can't really complain.
Oh,
I hate.
nice.
I am just trying. Like, North Carolina is one of the worst states when it comes to getting people's unemployment benefits out. I just filled out my eighth like weekly certification that I have to,
Oh my
and
God.
I still have not gotten a penny, nothing. And I've called and called and called, and it's like the call center is just full. Like, there's just too much going on, and they don't have enough people. And I know the workers are doing everything they can. Like, I absolutely believe that there's just nothing they can do. But it's just nuts. They've opened up like an online, like, hey, ask for help online thing. It's like, okay, cool. I ask for help online, and they're like, yeah, you have to call. I'm like, oh my god, you're kidding me with this, right? You're killing me.
Jesus.
And I'm
So
not the
you
only one. Like, it's
right.
a lot of people around the state, and interestingly, it all seems to stem from around the same time, like that middle end of March, around the same time I applied, and everybody's saying the same thing. It's like, it's been 6 weeks, it's been 8 weeks. Like, what the hell? Like, I'm still, because it still currently classifies me as pending, and I was like, what? Just
Oh my God.
can somebody give me an answer? Just explain to me what's going on. Nothing. I can't get through to anybody. Like, I look at my phone and it's like, okay, well, I'm trying to get out. It doesn't look like I'm calling a phone number, because you know how it always gives you like the little number next to it of like how many
Hmm.
interactions, whether they've called you or you've called them. It looks like a high score.
Wow.
It's insane. So it's like, get these people some help. I know they're doing the best they can, but
Yeah.
they're just overwhelmed. So just, God, just get them some, like, I've been, the best you can do is reach out on social media to people and just be like, get them some help, like tweeting the like news organizations and the actual Department of Commerce, governor, whoever. And it's just been like, get these people some damn help
Oh my
so they
God.
can
So
get us some help. Like, it's insane.
yeah, it's I'm obviously I'm in Florida. It's a different state, so I it sounds exactly like what's happening in the state as well. Um, People are just not getting through with anything,
Yeah.
or like they'll go and they'll log into the website, they'll try to get in, it crashes, it spits them out, it tells them the dates are all mixed up. Uh, my Facebook is just full of people with issues. That's absolutely insane. Do you know if they've talked about sending out another stimulus check? Is that something they're working on?
There was a bill introduced today. It's not going to go anywhere. Like,
Oh,
there's too many people who are going to say, if you keep sending out money, it's going to the phrase is de-incentivize employment. I think the biggest de-incentivizer of employment is, a global pandemic. But, what do I know? I just listen to experts.
well, yeah,
Uh,
exactly. And if you can't collect unemployment because it's broken, they're not going to send out a stimulus check. What do they expect to happen?
they no, no,
Like,
Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
right? Like
Basically,
that's
like,
oh
just
my
straight
God.
up. Um,
That's
because I can't think of anything else for it. These people are not, and I look at, like, I keep following like local news on Facebook, because there's usually actual local news, but
right.
it's like it's split now half and half between, like, here's things that are actually important, and things happening in the city or in the county and state, things you turn to local news for.
Hmm.
And the other half is, here's all, like, it's such a reopened North Carolina down with science platform now, it makes me sick. And I'm just like, these people are not being the people Mr. Rogers knows they could be, and that makes me
Right.
sad.
Wow. Wow.
I just I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I understand if you have if your business is hurting and it's affecting your livelihood, I get that. I absolutely get that, and I understand that. But there is more to this than this.
Right.
Don't get mad at people. Like I'm still going back and forth with people at work about gloves and masks. Like, we finally have face masks now, and people don't know how to wear them. They wear them like chin straps, and I'm just like, you're not even covering your mouth. Like, do you not get this?
Wow.
Do you not understand this? And then nobody covers their nose. Nobody. They're all pulled up. It's like, well, it's over my mouth. That's fine, right? No, it has to go up over your nose. Well, then it's uncomfortable. You know what else is uncomfortable? An illness that can tend to lead to death. That's fairly uncomfortable.
Yeah, that doesn't even make sense.
I'm just like, I don't like wearing it. Look at me. I have to have my hat, a mask, a beard net, gloves, an apron. I am not particularly comfortable. And I know
Right.
in relation to healthcare workers, it's absolutely nothing, and I understand that. But that's also my point of, like, look, this is a moderate inconvenience. This is a mild inconvenience at worst. I
Yeah.
got over it. It's not a big deal. But
Right.
apparently it's just the worst thing on the planet, and I cannot get anybody on board with the fact that this is a big deal. And I'm just it's making me crazy, because I just don't get why this is a hard concept. Put on the gloves, put the mask on right, and shut up.
It's because most people just don't want to be inconvenienced. I mean, it's exactly what it is. It's the slightest inconvenience for anything. Oh, I can't get a haircut. Well, wait, I can't go to the gym. Like I can't like the simplest things. People are just having a meltdown with. And like you said, the healthcare workers, my brother, exactly. He's a nurse in New York City. He has to wear two gloves on each hand. They have to take those off and dump them after each time they see a patient. They have to change out their gloves, their masks. The masks they have to wear that weekly, but the gloves specifically they have to wear two at a time, dump them, all sorts of things to decontaminate every time they come home. And it is such a process that for someone to complain about putting a mask over their nose is just asinine.
It is. That's exactly the word for it.
Yeah, it's I don't know, that's but the whole problem is that a lot of companies don't give a shit. A lot of managers and middle management, they don't care. They get to work. That's it is a weird mindset to see. It's really weird to see going around. It sucks. Sucks seeing, especially seeing bigger companies like Tesla just like say fuck it, go to work. We'll all get arrested basically. Like it's crazy. But
fuck Tesla. Like, well, not let me say, fuck Elon Musk. I won't throw the whole company under the bus just because the guy in charge of it is completely off the rails.
I just hope someone doesn't get sick. It would be such a fucking disaster.
And it's hard to tell who he'll blame.
Right. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. It's been a weird fall of grace because at first people were like, "Oh, hey, this guy, he's doing things different," and then it went weird really fast. How about that name though? His equation for his sons. I don't know, but it's good to see some companies like actually protect their workers and protect their employees, and I wish others would take example. It sucks. Locally, small business and big business. It's much harder for smaller businesses, obviously, but if you're a company the size of like Amazon and whatnot, you shouldn't be treating your employees like shit.
No, and on that note, let's talk about Kroger for a minute, deciding that $2 an hour quote unquote hero pay raise they gave their grocery workers, which by the way is insulting on the face of it, but in this day and age you take what you can get. It ended or ends in the next couple days.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, seriously. Like, they're just like, yeah, it was only ever meant to be a temporary thing. And it's like, are you really? Even though states still have lockdowns, and it's like, oh, but phase one everywhere. Phase one in every state is basically just, hey, some of the, like, local government offices are going to be open to limited capacity. That's like in North Carolina, I think that's all that's changed It's like, you know,
We
you
have
can.
barbershops and stuff open now.
Yeah, we're not even doing that
Yeah,
for.
Florida's wild. We're
Yeah, but I think Georgia's got you guys beat though.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, it's I don't know. I can't say much. I can't complain. Uh, I it's I hate seeing the news and I hate hearing it from friends and family like you that are going through the shit with that. And like there's no I can't do anything. It sucks.
It's
Uh,
just it's insane what's going on, and it's crazy watching people
yeah,
react in just the most ludicrous ways. Where was it in? Was it Colorado where that restaurant decided, hey, we're gonna reopen for Mother's Day because we feel like it,
yeah.
and then that place got packed full and nobody was wearing masks and none of this was going on, and so of course they got shut down. They're like, no, forget this. We're revoking your license
Yeah.
indefinitely, and we'll deal with this later. And everybody's. I swear, if I hear somebody talk, if I, it's bad enough when the America groups get riled up anyway, because at least in some aspect you can tunnel down and find, like, oh, here's a tiny kernel of something logical that they've just completely distorted. There's not even that now. Like,
The conspiracy theory stuff is what really upsets me, um, especially when I have someone in my family working at the hospitals and everything else, and just to
yeah,
see it, just the oh my god, I don't know, it's insane to see. I try to stay off Facebook now because of it, because I feel like everyone's got a Facebook degree and what they think.
I
Uh, yeah,
I can't. I've
how
warned.
much they know over the experts
Oh my
apparently.
God, yes, everybody knows everything, and that's why we have to reopen everything and undo everything, and if we
Hmm.
get the economy working again, it'll all be better, and this virus will just magically disappear. And I'm just like, no, that's not
Right.
how science works.
Exactly.
It's
It's
just
not going to magically disappear. It's going to be here a while. Even when things open back up, businesses are not going to be booming. People who think that suddenly places are going to be packed again, it'll happen to a few places, sure,
yeah,
but we're not going to see this. We're not going to see it as it has been the last 10 years. You know what I mean? Like Disney, places like the, they're going to be at a fraction of what they are.
right, and largely by their own. When I think Disney is what only allowing themselves to open up to, what is it? Because they just reopened Shanghai Disneyland, and it's what,
Right.
30. I think it's 30% capacity.
Yeah, and then the guy who's the CEO now he's talking about he plans on doing the same here, making masks mandatory for both employees and the visitors.
Yeah.
Um, stuff like that. But that you're not going to see people rushing out to do that. Sure, everyone wants to get out of their house, but I think at the end of the day, I see people seeing this as like a political stance or something instead of just common sense.
Well,
So
these
it's
people
like
have no common sense.
right. So it's like a well, screw the left or screw the right. I'm gonna do this, and it's so it's so crazy. I am glad to see a lot of my family members who usually lean one way or the other are all very much on the same page as me and you are. That like this is bad, and I think it really ties to the fact that my brother is right there on the front lines dealing with it. So it's like they listen to him. They when he says this is what's happening, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm dealing with. I'm seeing 32-year-old men die with no health issues. I'm seeing losing 6 patients that I had on one rotation, or one in one day. uh they're they get shooken up very quickly, like, you can't get this, you can't have anyone in our, especially elderly in our family, get this. A lot of our family's overweight, or we have asthma or whatever. You can't, like, you have to take it seriously. And so I think a lot, and I have family members that have immune deficiency and all that stuff, so like they're taking it seriously, thank God, even if they lean one way or the other. Whatever you see that on the news, I'm so glad that they're like, no. When they start to get in conspiracy theory territory, they're corrected real fast.
Yeah.
That sorry, that's a cool link that you got on YouTube and Facebook, but that's not what the health experts are saying, and that's not what our family members are going through in the hospital. So it's, I don't know, but yeah, It's crazy. Something has to happen, especially with the unemployment. If they're going to keep everyone, you know, sheltered in place or whatnot, they have to fix that. Like, I don't understand how any state can continue another month without paying anybody.
Oh,
Like, at what point do the citizens say enough is enough?
You're seeing it, but they're going about it the wrong way.
Right, yeah, it's like they're targeting the wrong things.
Right, their response isn't, hey, this system is broken, it needs to be fixed. Their response is, this doesn't work, so open everything back up so we can go back to work. Which, on the one hand, is fine in a sense, but
you would kill off a mass population of our sick, our elderly.
Well, for some people, that's not a problem.
Yeah, see, that's absolutely bizarre to me. I can't fathom. I guess I'm a family oriented person, but my whole family is. So even when stuff like this happens, that matters more than anything else. And I'm maybe it's like a generational thing. Why do people not think that's a big deal?
Because people are stupid. I really don't have any.
Like, are they not close to their parents? Do they not have parents? Do they not have anyone in their family that they I don't know. Like, that's such a gamble to me that I wouldn't risk it, even if you felt it in your bones that it was bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, there's still that. You'd still think they'd be like, I don't know if I'd risk it.
Yeah, I don't get how, you know, somebody, what's his name, the lieutenant governor in Texas, when he was just like, you know, who basically just came out and said sacrifice the old people, and people went, yeah, that'd be all right. Like, I don't, what timeline is this?
Look, you're not a war general. This isn't a war. This is it's a virus, right? It's not the same.
Yeah.
We're not sending people to war. The people that are closest to it are the ones that are actually having to stay open and work. And the health, you know, the people at the hospitals and the people working at the grocery stores, and not you know, phoning this in from home. It's just so crazy to me.
Yeah, it's a bold stance from a video conference.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. It's bizarre.
But we have to get our economy working again. At what price? Like, it astounds me that there is an actual national conversation going on that the economy is worth dead Americans. Yeah. I can't. I absolutely and I can't. I don't get it, man. I really don't understand this at all, and and my heart goes out to everybody, to everybody on a reservation, anybody who's in a tribe who has because those places were never adequately equipped for much of anything to begin with because of everything that's gone on for the last, right, 150, almost 200 years now, give or take. But they've been hit the hardest, and there's reservations. What is it? There's one in South Dakota where they've set up checkpoints to make sure people don't get in, and the state's like, no, you can't do that, and they're like, bite me, we're gonna do what we have to.
Right.
I mean, the Irish are paying back loans from tribes that they got however many years ago. Like, it's insane that we can't take care of our own damn people, and so many people don't care about people, and these are the ones who love to preach about their morals and their values. But, you know, if the old people have to die for the economy, so be it. I am very this is a bizarre thing to say, but I'm going to say it like this anyway. I take a slight bit of pride in understanding that I can't fathom that mindset.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like I said, it's bizarre. Yeah. It's bizarre to see people acting that way. I'm lucky that people that are close to me like get it. There's no one really that is acting like that. It's weird to see on Facebook. It's weird to see people that I find that, like, hey, I thought they were intelligent, like normal people, but what happened? And I get the desperation, people that are out of work. I get that. I totally do. I totally get why someone's like, hey, I'm not going to have a place to live, or I can't put food on the table. I get that. I totally do.
Yeah.
but to have like no remorse, no like, hey, well, I don't care, let's open it back up. It's like, yeah, no, sorry. Like, let's figure out how to, yeah, I don't know. Let's figure out how to get you help first. And keep note of who's in charge right now of your state, your local, you know.
Top down, not just
Top down.
you
Yeah.
know, obviously there's carrot top, but I mean everybody on down. Like,
Yep.
look at, because I mean we had a state senator who was very big about, you know, well, we have to reopen, like headed the reopen NC protests, and was standing out there holding up a sign that said I'm listening, and everybody's response was no, clearly you're not.
Yeah.
But like that's, but yes, absolutely pay attention at every level, and just I
I
just
think a lot of politicians are scared about what's about to happen.
I don't think so. I don't think they are at
No,
all. No. If this had been 20 years ago, sure. But I mean, look at how far our discourse has flown off the rails.
that's true. That's true.
Because they will find whatever they can to justify it, and it's not going to matter.
Right? Oh yeah. Hashtag Obamagate.
Man,
What is that?
which nobody can explain. Which nobody can, he got up and did a whole
It is
song
so
and dance
bizarre.
about it, and it was like
It
it
is.
was
It
the
is
greatest.
Twilight Zone.
It was the greatest crime in political history. Okay, can you elaborate on it? No. Well, but then what I
It's
okay.
like it's a lampoon. Like I feel like we are in a cartoon world when I see shit like that.
I
And
really
they're
I
adults.
I wanted more than anything on the planet the day that he got up and gave the famous disinfectant talk. I would have I would have absolutely given anything to be in the writers' room at the Onion.
Well,
Right at
I just
right at
I
that
don't
moment.
understand why one of these reporters just don't go, what the fuck are you talking about?
I really think they're trying their best to do it in a
I don't
professional
at,
way,
at
because
this point, fuck it. Like
I
he's like when you tell people when you start asking about is there a way to get disinfectant in the bodies, you know, or like at that point it's either a joke or you are actually that stupid, and
yeah.
it clear as day, you know. I don't know. I feel like should we move on? Should we keep talking about this?
I mean, we could just go on and on and on, but I mean,
Yeah.
let's, you know, the bottom line is we just want people to be safe and be
Yes.
intelligent, which is asking a lot. But
Yeah.
please try.
And yeah, and whatever position you're in right now, remember to vote. That's, you know,
If man, I'm telling you, if that's a
it,
thing,
that's the only thing that's going to change stuff like this. If you don't like how it is right now, in your local, your state, your whatever, this is how you. That's the only way you're going to change things, is to get different people in there to do something about it.
yeah.
Because clearly, I mean, it's a disaster right now. It's crazy because I have a friend in Canada that's like, oh yeah, I filed for this thing, and a couple days later I got a $2,000 check, and I'll get that next month. It's a guaranteed thing. Like, it's crazy to see other countries so that are should be on our level, right? That are just like, okay, here's the plan, and here's what we're gonna do. Where our country is making up hashtags and throwing shit at each other. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, instead of actually fixing things, you
Yeah.
know.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
This will not be kindly remembered throughout
Oh no.
history, which is
Abs-
unfortunate.
Absolutely not. So, all right. Well, try to move on to some positive stuff, some fun stuff.
I think one of my favorite positive bits of news was they canceled the gathering of the Juggalos. That always makes me smile.
Dude, when the
Man.
juggalos are making better decisions than some people in charge, you know, when they cancel before Star Wars Celebration,
Tickets still on sale.
when they cancel, it's bizarre to me.
It
Like,
is. It really, it really is.
it has to be some sort of insurance thing with a lot of these companies where they're like, if the state shuts them down, then they'll get some money back. But
At some point, you just have, and especially when you're Disney and you just spent like 80, 90 billion dollars to buy Fox, you can take the hit, and
well,
because the
I
PR
don't
is
know.
worth it.
The thing about Disney though is they're losing a ton of money because their parks are closed. So as much money as I think everyone knows Disney has a ton of money, but I actually think that over the next couple of years they're going to be very conservative about what they spend. We might probably see less. I think we'll see more TV stuff, less movies.
I agree with that. I think we will absolutely see more Disney Plus content. I think this is actually going to be great in terms of
Yeah.
like, because we're getting things like prop culture and
Yep.
the Mandalorian behind the scenes stuff. I saw the
Yeah.
first
Oh,
episode of that. It was fantastic.
so good. So good.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm all for more of that because that stuff is not expensive to produce at
yes,
all.
I think that this was hopefully a wake up call to some companies, at least to like the comic book industry. I'm going to talk about comics in a little bit, but like the convention scene in general right now, I can't even imagine what they're thinking is going to happen in the next couple of months. I know a lot of them are going to open back up, but that is a disaster waiting to happen, especially if there is another wave of this.
I would not go to a con for a year. I wouldn't even go to Comic Con next year. Like
Oh yeah, no,
I would not go to SDCC until 2022. I
yeah. Even
really
if I was
wouldn't.
given free tickets, it's not worth it. Not until there's adequate testing and some sort of vaccine, which will be a year or two out.
About
So
a year. It'll be like end ish of next year, middle end of next year at
yeah,
minimum.
which sucks because I love conventions. We've been to them
Yeah.
over the years. Uh, it's fun to be in that environment, but right now it's not safe. And I imagine a lot of the creators, a lot of the actors, a lot of the talent don't want to get sick either. They don't want to deal with that. So it has been cool to see a lot of them jump on YouTube, jump on videos, jump on like podcasts have come back so hard right now.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, like there's if I feel like everyone's doing a podcast now about like, oh hey, remember that show we did? Let's rewatch it and then let's do commentary on every episode.
Yeah, because there's nothing else to do except,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, that's right. Fans have wanted this stuff for years, and now because we literally have no jobs, we can do this.
Right, right, right.
So,
Right, exactly. So yeah, it's been cool to see that. And I don't know, yeah, I see things shifting that way. I see Disney doing that. I mean, I think they've I don't have the news in front of me, but like I think Marvel was it what's furloughed people when it comes to the editors for Marvel Comics.
yeah, that makes sense because there's
Yes.
not really comics coming out right now.
Right, right. I think DC is putting some out through their own distribution channel,
Yeah,
which it caused some controversy because I believe it was through was it Midtown Comics?
I think. I don't
Yeah,
remember exactly.
it was like a weird thing where they were like, "Hey, we'll push some stuff out, and it will come out on Tuesdays instead of Wednesdays." But like a lot of the stores don't want to be a part of it because then they're essentially giving their register all their information to a competitor,
Yeah,
which is a weird space to be in. So I think they're all kind of waiting for Diamond, which has announced that they're coming back to push everything out. So it's one of those things. If you have a local comic shop, talk to the owner, see what they're doing. See, most of them will just ship it to your house, or they'll do. Some places can do where you go pick it up. I know that's what our local comic book shop does. Aaron will work with you. He'll send you whatever you want. So hopefully, whoever it is near you can do that. Always support your local comic shop. And if there isn't a local comic shop, I don't know. You can support the industry by getting it off Amazon or something. So,
what Comixology?
yeah, Comixology, absolutely. Buy directly from them. Well, I think, yeah, Comixology get like the percentage, but that's the way you can directly get it. So,
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing. I got a ton of books here.
Yeah,
I'm
you
actually
you sent me a thing where you're just like, "Hey, I bought most of the old Ultimate Spider-Man run." It's like,
yeah, I bought like half of it. Yeah, I got it off eBay for like a fucking steal, and someone at the last minute tried to raise it $1, and I got them.
nice.
So
Well done.
yeah, so I have like 16 volumes. So I'm gonna be sending you some because I have some extras. I'm also gonna be sending you some of these other ones too. Like I want to send you Venom because I want to talk about Venom. I'll talk about it here in a little bit, but I won't get too spoiler because I think I'm just gonna send you it so you can read it. We could talk about it. Your history with Eddie Brock. We've talked about it before. Refresh my memory.
The
Where do you land with? I know you love Spider-Man. That's your guy for
Yeah.
Marvel, but Eddie Brock.
Eddie, I loved Eddie, and
That's what I thought. That's
yeah.
what I thought.
Oh, I like to me Eddie is Venom. I know there've been others. Matt Gargan had his own take on it. Flash Thompson was a completely different Venom, and that was cool. They don't, to me, like I don't think it's not like Green Lanterns, where they're kind of the same and you sort of have to pick one.
Right.
To me, like Eddie Brock's Venom and Flash Thompson's Venom are two completely different characters. I know it's
Absolutely.
the same symbiote, but they are so different that I don't think they don't compete in the same space in that way.
Right.
It's a completely different interpretation of Venom, but the Venom for me has been and always will be Eddie Brock. It just will be.
I guess I've only read. Okay, so my history of Venom in the '90s. I think we all liked Venom and Spider-Man because they looked cool.
Yeah.
As a kid, I'd pick up a few comics. But I've had no real connection at all towards Venom. I always thought he looked cool as a character. But not like you, where you love Eddie Brock. That is your Venom. So this was really I jumped in. I liked the Flash Thompson stuff. I thought it was such a cool story of, he was a wounded war vet, and the symbiote gave him legs again, and he was, like you said, a completely different character.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really my first, where I actually sat down and read a few volumes of Venom. But then for years I didn't pick up any Venom book. He went to space, and I didn't see anything after that. But this was so different. This was almost like a relationship with them too. It's almost like they need each other. It's almost like an addiction to him, where it's really fucked up. I don't want to go too much into it. Something's wrong with the Venom though, and I like how Venom. I guess whenever I read Venom before, it was always like Flash Thompson, and I know that the Venom lore is that Venom is his own character, Eddie Brock is his own character, Flash Thompson is his own character.
Yeah.
But I feel like in this comic, it really feels like two separate characters on an adventure together, and they need each other. Something's really wrong with the Venom. It's almost like I don't know. It opens up where Eddie is in such a dark place for whatever reason. It reminded me of like if he had like a drug problem or like an alcoholic or something.
When Eddie was split from the symbiote, he hit bottom fairly hard.
Okay.
Yeah, Eddie has history. I don't know if he was ever. I feel like he was probably an alcoholic at some point. Because there's a lot of lost time with when he wasn't Venom, and then there was Anti-Venom, which was a cool idea that they never did anything with. But there was a space of time where Eddie had like a very comic book death of like, yeah, he's not really dead, but so they've kind of tossed that back and forth a little bit. But Eddie without Venom was a very he was never in a good place. Not really.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I was talking with Aaron about this, and he said that he thinks he's written it like that because Donny Cates has openly talked about he's had addiction issues.
Fair.
And I feel like I can see that in the writing. And it's so good, dude. It goes into so much lore with Venom, and
because Donny did like the symbiote god stuff, and
the god,
really,
the crawl, yes. And so I'm an idiot. I got because I like the Silver Surfer for whatever reason. I always liked how cheesy he was. I liked just his powers. He looks cool, whatever. So I got the Silver Surfer Black. My problem is I watch YouTube channels like Comic Pop, and they're like, oh, we're going to talk about this book. They start talking about it, and I have to shut it off because I'm like, I want to read this. It looks awesome. So I got this thing, Silver Surfer Black. And long story short, Silver Surfer finds himself at the beginning of the universe. And in the book, he runs into Krull, or the god of the symbiotes, before there was anything. No, that's it. No, yeah. So he runs into him. I won't say what happens, but like it's all tied in together. And in the symbiote, there's a reason why it's so scared of fire, why it's so scared of sound, why it's so scared of Silver Surfer, and all these different crazy things. I felt like whenever I thought of Venom, I was like, it's the symbiote that just came from outer space, from it was an alien planet, and it lands on Earth, and it gets on Eddie Brock. Where like this goes into like the lore of what that is and what those creatures are.
And that's the thing that had not really been touched on all that much. They did a little bit with it off and on, But
Okay.
Donnie's run, from what I have heard, I haven't read it, but from what I've heard, like that's where this really kicks off. Because up until then, it was just kind of it's a being from it because that was how he was introduced. You know, that
Yeah.
goop was stuck on Spider-Man's suit from the original Secret War,
Yeah.
and they didn't do a ton to expand on it for decades.
Yeah.
And then there was a little bit with Agent Venom, you know, when they went into the Cancerverse,
Right.
Minimum Carnage, that kind of stuff. But
Okay.
they never, like, there's little bits of it here and there of like, oh wait, these things of like here's a little more of it because there hasn't been any lore on him forever. And
Okay.
now they've just kicked the door wide open on it and just done
Oh
some
yeah.
crazy stuff.
Because he did Guardians. I don't know if he's still doing it. And Guardians was the way the Guardians of the Galaxy opened up was basically sending Silver Surfer back to the past. That's how it set up that Silver Surfer Black Book. That all ties into this Venom stuff, and I think it goes into Ultimate Carnage, which I haven't read yet, which was a big event last year. It all ties in together, and now he's writing Thor. So like all this galactic Star Wars, all this galactic Marvel stuff, it seems to be Kate's. I feel like all these books I'm picking up, I'm like, oh, this is Donny Cates. This is Donny Cates. And the other guy is Jonathan Hickman. I have the House of X, Powers of X, but I haven't read it yet.
Nice.
Yeah,
Hickman,
but
you can't really go wrong with Hickman. Like
no.
you're in for something one way or another. It's never boring. Hickman stuff is never boring. I'll give it that. It may not be everybody's cup of tea, but it's never boring.
Well, his stuff always goes somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's from what I understand. This run is like you said, you either like him or you don't, but at least you know there's an end, you know. So anyway, I'm gonna definitely send you a few volumes of this Venom this week, so we can talk about it more into detail next week. I think that'd be really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I think the first volume of Donny Cates Venom is actually free for Kindle Unlimited. If you have that, here's a fantastic thing. A lot of like first trades, like those first volumes of a lot of comic books, are actually on Kindle Unlimited for anybody who's got Prime.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Kindle
Is
Unlimited.
Kindle Unlimited? I have Prime.
Or not. Kindle Unlimited is different. I'm sorry, I'm confusing Kindle Unlimited with Prime Reading. Prime Reading is included with Prime, but it does include a lot of those trades. More of them are included in Kindle Unlimited, which is basically just a larger version. It just includes a lot more titles.
Okay.
And it's not a bad. Kindle Unlimited isn't a bad thing. If you just tear up books, it's
right.
something worth looking into for sure.
Yeah, Volume 1 by Donny Cates is Kindle and Comixology Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah.
$0. Oh, that dude! I didn't even know this.
Yeah, Kindle Unlimited is an additional subscription service, and it's
okay.
Yeah. Kindle Unlimited is like not I forget it's what like 10. It's one of those. I think it's like $10 a month.
$10, yeah.
But it's not like and it's something like I said. If you're somebody who just tears through books,
yeah,
then it's absolutely worth it because the selection's pretty decent. But if you're a Prime member, check out the comics selection under Prime Reading. Prime Reading is included. With your Amazon Prime membership, and check out the comics available, and you're gonna be surprised. Like it's not, it's like those first volumes of a lot of comics. I mean, a lot of comics.
I'm gonna check that out. Another one I think you might like is called Spider-Man Life Story.
I've never heard of this.
It's 6 issues. What it's about? Hey, I might just send you that one too. Then I'm just gonna send you my comics basically. It's really cool. It's a neat concept where time in the Marvel universe travels. Peter Parker's not 30 years old.
Right.
So basically, it happened as if Peter Parker was the age he was whenever it started in the 60s. But in the 90s, for example, when the Clone Saga happens, Peter Parker is, how old would he be?
40, 50,
40.
something?
Yeah, he's in his 40s or 50s. So it's the Marvel, it's his life story, but as if he aged.
So they Constantined him.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. I've always thought that was an interesting idea. Just have have a series off by itself that just says, what if these people got old? Not like
Yeah,
not like
exactly.
Old Man Logan old, but just something like
Oh, it
this. Like,
gets it gets old. Yeah, no, I'm gonna send this to you. I don't want to say anything more. It's really good. You love Spider-Man. I think you'll like it. Yeah, it's good shit, dude. It's
yeah.
like I'm saying, like for whatever reason,
Thanks, Vince.
during oh yeah, during this this whole thing, I wanted to escape. Right. I used to read comics all the time, and I stopped for whatever reason. But like recently, I'm like, you know what? That's a good escape. That's a good place to go to and just zone out. Like I said, I've been playing a lot with my little brother, the PlayStation, but when I have time to just like I want to clear my mind, I've been jumping into these comics and I've been absolutely loving it. A few more that I haven't really got into too much. I'll talk about Deceased by let's see here. Tom Taylor, Trevor Hairsine. I'm messing up all these names. Rain Burlow. Basically, it is. You know how Marvel had Marvel Zombies?
Yeah, Deceased was the DC answer to that, right?
It's the DC answer to that, but it's very clever. They're not zombies. It is the anti-life equation, like
Okay.
turned on its head to where anyone looking at a screen when this thing went off becomes infected and becomes essentially a zombie. And so it's a very interesting take on, well, who in the Bat family would be consuming social media, or who in Superman's family. And like it's very much a like an injustice. It's very much its own like little world.
Right, yeah.
And from what I understand, it was a limited run. Uh I don't know. It's been really fun, but like I said, once I started reading Venom, I kind of put everything down. I got Tom King's Mr. Miracle, The Immortal Hulk, and then I have Scott Snyder's Justice League. So I haven't really gotten into anything else yet. Like I said, once I started reading Venom, I was just like, I am hooked on this shit. So I'll talk about all that next week. And I think we'll both talk about Venom and Spider-Man as well, which would be pretty cool.
Nice.
But yeah, that's basically what I've been doing to try to keep busy. And playing Warzone with my little brother, which has been really cool. We've been really digging that. I'm gonna play with him after that. You should hop in sometime, man.
Right now I am invested in Persona.
Oh yeah.
I
Okay,
have
let's hear it.
because
I jumped back into restarted as well, but I want to hear you. What do you think of it?
I'm telling you what, man. It for anybody who's ever wanted to play an anime, here you go. I get it. I absolutely
Yes.
everybody has always said like Persona games are amazing. They're fantastic. They're some of the best
Mhm.
games out there. They're so much fun. And I have always just kind of said, "Okay, cool, y'all do your thing."
Right.
Because I've never had the one thing about games like this, they take time. And I
Yes.
don't mean they take time overall. I
Hmm.
mean, I mean, obviously they do, but you have to put in. You can't just jump in for like, oh, I'm gonna do this thing for an hour and
No.
then come back to it. No, you have to have a day where you're just like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna play Persona, and you have to put hours into. I think I'm like 30 some hours in, and I've completed like 2 palaces, and there's I think 7 altogether.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. There's an
It's,
extra one with this version. But
yeah,
yeah, dude, you
I've
get there's a calendar day in this where like every day matters.
yes, and I here's here's what cracked me up, and it's why it's funny. If I wouldn't have made this joke, like
Hmm.
10 or 15 years ago, because I wouldn't have had the hindsight of just how ridiculous this is.
Hmm.
But I now understand why so many of a particular kind of bootleg, badly translated, let's loosely call them dating sim
Yeah.
games, followed this kind of like, you have to upgrade your stats, you only have so much
Hmm.
energy, you only have so many days. I played an embarrassing number of those during my high
Yeah.
school years, and now I get it. I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
that is a wildly popular kind of
Hmm.
gameplay mechanic. Okay, I hadn't
Yep.
seen that. It is not a Western mechanic at all.
Right. Right.
But I get it, and I think that in a weird way has helped me time manage with this. Where I'm like, oh, I'm
Ye-
used to this.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I shouldn't
Absolutely.
be used to it, but I am. But
Yeah.
but God, it's so fun. The combat is great, and I absolutely loved that. When you get to the second palace, and I don't want to say breeze through it, but in relation to the first palace, this thing is it's so much smaller. Like the first,
Hmm.
that whole first, honest to God, I think 14, 15 hours I sunk into this game is like, oh,
Yeah.
this is just the tutorial, basically.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yeah.
God, man,
That first palace is huge.
it is. It is. It's massive, but it's designed to be
Mhm.
because it has to walk you through all the different mechanics. And if I, and that's what I mean.
Right.
That's because I picked up Persona 5 because I had like through the Sony Rewards points deal when it first came out. Because I was like, I've got all these points. I wasn't really doing anything with them, and I was like, I've heard good things about this. I'll try it. Never even opened it
Wow.
because it was just like, oh, this is just I didn't have time, and
Yeah.
I knew what I was going to be getting into. I was like, I
Mhm.
do not have time, and I took
Yeah.
that to get I'll never forget when I took that to GameStop to trade in. They were like, how is this brand new? And I just explained it to them. They're like, oh man,
Right.
you're missing out. I was like, I
Yeah.
get it, but I understand that these things are a huge commitment, and I just didn't have that. And I'm like,
Right.
fair enough. Now
Right.
that you know, fortunately slash unfortunately, I do have that kind of time.
Mhm.
I'm sunk in. Like
Yeah.
I'm in because also everything is interesting. You know,
Yeah.
it's also very anime. It's very
Yes.
like, oh yeah, no, I get it. There's the maid, sure, yeah, that's fine.
Mhm.
But it gets a little cringe, but it's
Oh, it
not.
totally gets cringe. A lot of the personas and stuff, I'm just like, this is ridiculous. This demon's got a dick. Like,
Yeah.
it's just so silly. But I love that. I eat that shit up.
Exactly, because it's very much of that style. Like it's
Mhm.
just they made the game they made, and that's deal with it
These-
or don't. You
yeah,
know.
Persona just it puts it all out there on its sleeve, and it's very much the classic JRPG, just ramped up to 11.
Oh yeah.
Where I feel like a lot of like Final Fantasy, as good as it is, the newer ones have become way more Western. Where Persona's like, nah, we're still owning this. This is still
Sure. Final
yeah,
Fantasy since basically since 13 has
yeah.
gone a different way, and it kind of started in 12 a little bit, and I stress a little bit. Nobody come at me,
Hmm.
but really in 13, they started moving towards a little more action oriented. And then
Right,
15 was very much that. It was very much an action RPG
right.
instead of traditional. But yeah, and here's the thing: the combat in this is is exactly what you want in a JRPG. It's complex, but it's simple.
And it's beautiful.
It is. It's good.
The
The art style in this is phenomenal.
I love it. The art, the music, it's all so just
I like
perfect.
this is a sound. I wonder if that soundtrack is on Spotify anywhere because a
Oh,
lot
I
of
bet.
that's what cracks me up is a lot of soundtracks are on Spotify, and
Yeah.
that's always kind of been funny to me. But it's music that you can't get away from.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Persona 5 original soundtrack. No, that's one of these. This is what I hate. Like, I really hate, like, oh,
It's a playlist.
here's a playlist that's like, oh, it's this thing soundtrack. And then you look and it's like, no, some jerk just threw a bunch of songs together
Mhm.
and stuck some artwork on it. It's like, that's not it
Yeah.
at all. But I don't know. It may be on here somewhere, but I'm going to keep looking. But anyway, in the meantime, it's just,
Yeah.
I'm stuck in. Like I'm in this for the long haul now. Like
Good.
there's no way.
Good. Yeah, I started it up. I've only played like maybe about 5 hours of it, but I'm gonna play some more of it so we can talk more about it next week. I think that'd be really fun to do like a deep dive into it. But yeah, man, I loved it. I never really finished Persona 4 on the Vita. I'm shocked they haven't put that on PlayStation. PlayStation 4, like as a like
It's just
$10 game.
right or 20. For the
Yeah.
size of these games, I think you could easily get.
Oh yeah.
Because wasn't there also like a was there? Because I know Persona 5 Royal is an updated. It's basically just kind of like
Well,
how there used to be like an international version of Final Fantasy games.
Well, there was a Persona 4, and then the one on Vita was a Persona 4 Golden, because I think technically Persona 4 was a PlayStation 2 game,
I
if
th-
I'm not mistaken.
I think was it PS2 or was it PS3?
Let's see. Quick search.
Quick Google search. It may well have been.
PlayStation 2.
Was
Yeah.
it? And I fully believe that because I can
Yeah.
totally see because this art style for as gorgeous as it is, I can totally see working at a lower scale.
Yeah.
Like and without compromising anything. That's the
Hmm.
beautiful thing about animated games is
Yes.
they can be just fantastic looking and it doesn't
It holds up.
chew. Yeah.
Yeah. You could play this 20 years later, and it will still look just as
Oh
beautiful.
yeah. Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, and Persona 4, the Golden on the Vita, I mean, it's an OLED screen. It was gorgeous to play as well. Obviously, it's not as robust or whatnot, but like it still was just as big. It was still just, well, maybe Persona 5 is a little bit bigger, but it still took a very long time. It was still very much, you had days to plan out, and the story was really cool. It was like a murder mystery thing going on. I'm shocked that is not, maybe PlayStation 5. I think that's probably what everything's waiting for, is because it seems like everything's going to be backwards compatible on that. Hopefully they put out like a whole Persona pack where it's like, like how Mario did, where it was like all the Mario games. Here's all the Persona games, because there's a ton that most people have never played. I think most people have played 4 and 5, and then there's an even smaller number of people who played the ones before that.
Well, yeah, back when it was actually where it wasn't Persona, where you had to find the original name, where it was just Shin Megami Tensei,
Exactly.
and it was so. Some of those older games are so weird.
Right.
Oh, they're weird.
Yep.
Not that these aren't, but there's a little more cohesion to these. Those, like I don't remember which one it is, which is basically like, okay, so the world ended, and you have to stop it from ending, but it already ended. Yeah, but where it's like they, in this one, they kind of disguise, and maybe it's just a Western thing, where the a lot of the references to specific like demons and angels and stuff isn't, like, it's not obvious, but in the original ones it was straight up like, no, you're fighting these particular demons and they have this purpose and blah blah blah.
Right. Yeah. You're probably right. That's probably what it was. But yeah, man, I love it. These Persona games, I love them. I think they're great. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I was afraid you might not like it, or it might be
I'm
too
glad
much.
I'm enjoying it too. Like it,
Yeah.
because I had the time to invest in it. I said
Yeah.
any other time I wouldn't have, because it would have been like, oh my god, I've played this game for an hour and a half and this cat's still talking. But
Right. Oh, the cat. Yeah, he's great.
I'm having a real Frieza moment with this cat,
Yeah.
because I keep thinking like, wait, he,
Right.
because the voice is not a he.
Right.
And it's just and also because the cat's name is Morgana, which is decidedly a female name.
Right.
But it's just like, okay, cool, whatever, do your thing. You're a cat, go for it. Like I'm on board. I'm in. And that's a very different, when as you could, and I'm sure you add more than just the people that you have. You add one before you go to the second palace, and I don't know how many more you add. I haven't looked, because I always kind of want to be surprised. I'm like, my walkthrough version of this is very limited, because I'm just stuck in. I don't want a story beat for beat thing. Like, here's some. I like the ones that are like, I'll do like the palace walkthroughs where it's like, hey, make sure you don't forget this kind of thing. Right. But I don't want
like these are crucial. Yeah.
Exactly. Where it's like, and especially with the will seeds, where it's like, no, these are over here. It's like, all right, cool, I got you.
Yeah.
But I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, but it's just, as I hope you start adding more people to your party, like you would with a traditional JRPG.
Right.
Because the first next person you add, where it's like, oh, that's Goemon, that's a very different Goemon than I grew up with.
Right.
The Super Nintendo version, and even the N64 version, the Mystical Ninja Goemon. I was like, that's a real different look.
Right.
But I am absolutely enjoying it. I'm having a blast with it, which is fantastic, because it's also something like with everything going on, I haven't been tired. Yeah. So, I've been able to put in, we get done recording this and it'll be, 9:00 or whatever. And I've seen way too many sunrises.
Really?
Like, I just don't sleep. Like, and and it sucks. Even when I've got to get up for work, it's like, I'm just not tired. So I've had this and it's just like, all right, cool. I'll just jump in here and dive into this for, 6-7 hours at a time.
That's good.
But, and trying to trophy hunt on top of that, not necessarily with Persona, because I'm just having fun with the mechanics and the story and enjoying that. And knowing that like all that stuff carries over to a new game plus, I think on a second playthrough I might try to platinum it.
Yeah. Oh man.
But we'll see. But
Yeah.
I picked up the classic edition of Far Cry 3 because it was $15 on the PlayStation Store.
Okay.
The classic edition for PS4 is just the single player side.
Okay.
They took out the co-op and the multiplayer, which is fine by me because I'm not a multiplayer guy anyway.
Yeah.
So I at some point, if I start getting burnt out on Persona, I'll jump into Far Cry, and that one I'll trophy hunt for sure. And also Thief from way back, which I feel like was a launch title for the PS4.
Oh yeah.
Was like $3.
Oh wow.
And I was like, hell yeah, I'll buy that. They've got a nice, it's like a deals, it's like games under 20 right now going on.
Okay.
And it's worth looking into that and the Hidden Gems sale. They've got two sales going on right now, and they're not terrible. They're not bad sales.
Okay.
Because things like the BioShock collection are on sale and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But definitely something to look into if anybody's looking for, hey, I've played everything. What do I do now? Check out the PlayStation Store because of these deals they've got going on. See if there's something that jumps out at you.
Yeah. What I saw, there was a big sale on Steam. What's the company that makes Tomb Raider?
Square Enix.
I think it's Square Enix is a big sale.
They have basically like it's like the Square Enix catalog for $60 or something. It's
like 50 games for $50, or I think there might be like 50 plus games. But yes,
it's massive sale. I did remember seeing that.
Yeah, it's like the Guacamole games, the Tomb Raider games, all the way back to like old school games. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. So definitely check that out.
Yeah, I kind of want to pull that one up and just see.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. It was Steam deals get 50 games. Square Enix games for $50 plus a ton of great indies. It's still going on right now. It says.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, here's full list of it. Now we're talking. Here's the list.
Yeah.
It did not send me where I wanted to go.
It says alongside the killer Square Enix deal, Steam is also currently running an indie mega booth sale with deals over 150 indie games as well. So
nice.
Here, I'll send this to you. But yeah, that was pretty neat. Are there there's some big games coming out pretty soon. We got Last of Us around the corner.
They've finally decided on that one coming out. It's going to be June 19th.
Yeah. Well, should we jump into the game news, or should we actually should we take a step back and get into movie news first?
Yeah, we'll do this down the line. Why not?
Okay. Cool.
Because we had Star Wars Day, so we had some pretty big Star Wars news, I think.
Oh yeah.
Very very excited to see that they're like, hey, we're obviously gonna keep making Star Wars movies because duh. So who do we get to write and direct the next one? And I imagine there was a list of people who were just like, well, all right, obviously we want it to make money. Okay, sure. But we also want it to be quirky because Star Wars fans like quirky. Okay. We also, maybe given the year we've had, probably should try to find somebody who can do this for a low budget. Okay. And just on and on down the list. And you're like, who in the hell fits all these? And I imagine like Taika just strolling by the office. Completely out of context, just on his way past this meeting for something else, who the hell knows what, and everybody just stops and just like at sitcom moment, everybody just stops and stares, and it like follows him as he walks by, and he just stops and sees everybody and has that goofy ass grin because Taika has the most like silly smile on the planet, and just waves hi and keeps walking, and they're just like, yeah, he'll do, that'll work, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I'm excited for a Taika Waititi Star Wars film. I'm very excited for this.
Yeah. This is, we've all seen Mandalorian, and some of our favorite episodes was the one he did.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people, it's one of those things like his comedy hits for me. A lot of people, it might not, but I loved Thor. God, that type of humor is just so good. Yeah, man, I can't wait for this. This was a just no-brainer.
Yeah.
This was just absolutely perfect. I can't wait for this. Now, they didn't really say what it's going to be about or anything like that, but I thought it was pretty cool. Also, who's going to be co-writing it? Because I think she did 1917, right?
Yeah, there was. Give me a minute, and I can tell you, because I did not, I didn't grab her name. It's late. Hang on, I just had it. Shit, where'd it go? It was literally just on this page.
Oh yeah,
Leslie Headland.
there we go.
No,
Yes.
wait, that's the she's doing Russian Doll. She did Russian Doll. She's doing the new Disney Plus series.
Christy
Whatever.
Wilson Carnes.
There it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's,
Yeah.
I jumped the paragraph. I was like, no, it's Taika. It's Taika. It's no. Oh no, there it is. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, it's there. A lot of this talent, like a lot of them are young. A lot of them are different than what they normally have,
Yeah.
and I think that's great. I think that's awesome. I can't wait. This was all great news. Now, we've talked about this a little bit. You're not too far in the Clone Wars, are you?
No, no. I am familiar though. If we're gonna talk about Bo-Katan, we can do that for a second because she was also in
Okay.
Rebels.
Yes.
Yeah, she
yes.
made a return in Rebels, and Katie Sackhoff has voiced her in both series, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And
yes.
so they're like, "Hey, do you want to play that character on The Mandalorian?"
Refresh my memory. You've seen all of Rebels,
Mm-hmm.
but not Clone Wars. Gotcha. Okay.
Right. I've barely scratched the surface on. I think I'm like 10 episodes into Clone Wars, maybe.
Okay.
But I've seen Rebels twice. I loved Rebels.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So man, I hope go watch the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars because it's so good. This whole last season was really great, but especially the last 4 episodes. That is how you end a series. That is how you put a bow on it, and it's we all know what happened. Disney, everything went down. Suddenly we got like some final episodes on Netflix. They didn't really get the conclusion they wanted to. And then of course it went on to Rebels, which was kind of acted as a, hey, let's carry on some of these storylines. But they didn't get the send-off that they really wanted. And this was such a great way to do that.
Yeah.
And it's, man, the animation and the way they tell the story, it is night and day compared to what they started with. And it's one of those things, like, I think pretty much when Clone Wars started, there was a lot of hate for it. A lot of people didn't like the animation style. They thought, "Oh, this is very childish. This isn't for me."
It's a children's show, and it's like, yeah, have you seen Star Wars?
Right. Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. It's space wizards for children. So the thing is it grew, and with like Ahsoka, for example, people hated her at first, and it was one of those things where like you had to give her a chance because she, as a character, she grows from this like
That's the whole
spunky, right.
Yeah.
You see her become an adult and grow into that through this, and by this episode, the transformation from just seeing it from the first to this, and the decisions that she makes in this, and like, oh my god, it's night and day, something compared to like I don't even know, like I don't know of another show where it's just, this was so well planned out, and I loved what they did with her character. I love what they did with Rex and everything else in the show. It was so good. So whenever you catch up with that, let's talk about that because I absolutely loved it. I have, I have a feeling that, Mandalorian is pretty much the next season seeming like it's going to pick up a lot of these stories from Rebels, which is cool, especially with Katie Sackhoff joining and, rumor has it Boba Fett as well.
Yeah, they've added Tamura Morrison, who played Jango in Attack of the Clones, and so everybody's going, "Oh my God, Boba Fett!" I'm just like, let's take this with caution here, not necessarily a grain of salt. But...
Couldn't it be Rex? Am I not like? Maybe my brain's not functioning right now, but like he doesn't necessarily have to be playing Boba Fett.
No, and I don't think that he is, but I don't know. Rex would be an odd addition, I think.
Well, I mean, rumor has it Rosie Dawson, aren't they trying to get her to play
oh yeah, they have
Ahsoka?
Like there were talks, or she was confirmed, or something. I don't know if it ever got past talks officially.
I don't see why he couldn't be Rex. He's a clone. He looks just, so either way, I would be happy with either one, or both. And who knows? He could be playing both. For all we know, we have no idea.
Right.
So it's fun to speculate responsibly, to set right expectations. He could be neither. Who knows? Maybe he's like a weird character we've never met before. They're just putting him in there with makeup on. But no, I'm excited for all this news. I can't wait for it. Like you said, I watched the gallery episode, which I think it's going to be like 7 or 8 episodes, but the first one with all the creators where they sit down and talk to them about what the show meant to them and doing it, and they all are very different backgrounds, and how it came together for them, and it was just really cool to sit down and watch. I love that stuff. But yeah, anyway, I don't know. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Was there any other Star Wars news that came out that day?
I think that was really it.
Yeah. I think they announced they showed the Lego game artwork. I have a feeling they were saving stuff for Celebration, but I don't see that happening.
No, especially because didn't California came out and was just kind of like, hey, we may extend this lockdown for a while.
Yeah,
so I know that it was supposed to be in August, but it's not gonna happen.
I think if I was in charge of this, I would totally do this. I would still have Celebration, but it would all be online.
Yeah,
just like how they're doing San Diego. I would be like, hey, look, guess what? None of us can make it to Celebration this year. We're going to bring Celebration to you. We're going to have live panels. It's going to be, where basically they're just doing, webcams or whatever.
It's basically just going to be like a Zoom conference mixed with an AMA.
Exactly. You get the actors, you get the writers, you do, you have your Marvel panel, you have your, for the comics, you have the books, you have the writers, you put the Timothy Zahn on there, you have the actors. It would be really cool to sit down and it's just spend an hour talking to Hayden Christensen or to George Lucas or to any of these people that are attached to it now. That's how you do it. You pivot it to say, we're going to bring Celebration to you. And take we'll do it on a Sunday or Saturday, take the day off, have fun, watch it, and, be involved. There's chat, whatever. That's how you do that. Instead, and you get other creators involved. That's how you get other, YouTube, you get like Star Wars Explained and all these other people involved. You have a trivia standoff. You do something creative like that. I hope they go in that direction, instead of like 2 months ahead of time. We're waiting to find out. Don't cancel your reservations.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I couldn't even imagine. I could not imagine. If you are planning to go to Celebration, do yourself a favor, cancel your reservation, take that money, go buy some books or games or whatever with it. I wouldn't plan on going there this year. Wait a year or two when things are back to normal. It'll, once things have calmed down. But I don't know. I hope they do something like that. We did get some other cool news though from Disney. You want to go ahead and take this next one?
Yeah, man. And I think a lot of this was because In the Heights, which was Lin-Manuel Miranda's first big Broadway thing, the movie version of that was supposed to come out, I think, like next month, and they bumped it to summer of next year.
Yeah.
The thing was then after that, it's like, well, hey, Disney had the rights to the filmed stage production of Hamilton, that the thing of like the dynamically filmed, so it was like part live audience, part not, but it was all the stage show kind of production. They've done that for a lot of productions over the years, but so Disney had the rights to that, and it was supposed to come out in 2021. And I'm sure they looked at that and went, well, hell, that means we got to push it to 2022, and that's another year gone, and it's already not quite the giant, pop culture phenomenon that it was just a year ago even. So we're just going to put it on Disney Plus on July 3rd this year.
Yeah,
I was like,
so smart.
Yes.
Don't wait too long to put this out there. Everyone's cooped up in their homes.
Do it.
And as much as this has been hyped, most people haven't seen it, right? Because it's not as accessible to.
Everybody's everybody's worn out the Cast album, you know,
Right.
back to front and sideways, the whole deal. Absolutely. But it's not something that's been widely actually viewed.
Right.
So this is, and to do it, you know, the day before the 4th of July, I think is extra
Perfect.
clever.
Absolutely.
But it's just, I think this is fantastic, and I get it. Disney's, you know, everybody's gonna say, well, they're taking a loss because this would have made a ton of money at the box office, and it would have. But I really think that in terms of capitalizing on this as a phenomenon, I think it
Hmm.
would have been a year, maybe even two, too late if they'd had it come out in 2022.
Hmm.
So I think this is smart. I think this is the right way to do it because I think the you don't have to spend the marketing on it this way. Also, you know, the
Hmm.
marketing for this would have justifiably been through the roof, but it would have cost a small fortune.
Yeah.
This way, you kind of eliminate that cost. You know,
Hmm.
you don't have, you know, you're not technically generating revenue off of it. Nobody's buying tickets for it, but this is definitely going to kick up Disney Plus subscriptions. Like those
Oh yeah.
numbers are going to bump again.
Yeah.
There's
Oh yeah.
no doubt.
Absolutely. People are going to want to see that
So I'm,
for sure.
yeah, hell yeah. I am super excited for it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. What other movie news? We got some Universal news here.
Universal really put their foot in their mouths, and I have been this is where I've unfortunately kind of been that guy on the
Hmm.
internet where I've seen so many news organizations that stopped at AMC says they're not airing Universal films anymore. It's like there's more to the
Hmm.
story than that. That literally happened an hour or two after the part of the story they're reporting on that they didn't report on until, you know, a couple or a few days after this. Like this all took place over an afternoon essentially, and
Yeah.
places were
Yeah.
still only doing half the story. Like that's just
Hmm.
shoddy work, you know. So what happened was Universal, the was it the president or whoever it was, I don't know the type, president, CEO, whatever of Universal, Jeff Shell, I believe was his name, looked at the fact that Trolls World Tour did great numbers and drew the absolute wrong conclusion from it, which was to say we're, you know, moving forward, we are looking at, he didn't say definitively, but he intoned that there was a possibility they were going to look at doing simultaneous theater and digital releases.
Hmm.
Now, for some movies, some of the smaller films, some indie films, that's not a problem because they're not going to make really anybody any money. So
Right.
there's not a lot of, like, that doesn't have a huge impact on things.
Hmm.
But for larger movies, and especially larger studios, that's a no no. You know,
Right.
you have the 90 days. Deal with
Hmm.
it. Like that's, and you'll find movies that come out on day 91 on digital. You know, that's fine. But they get their 3 months in the theaters. Been that way forever. Still gonna keep being that way. Get over it. That's how it goes. But he mentioned they may forego that. They were looking at it. Blah blah blah. So was it
Hmm.
Adam Aaron, the CEO of AMC, came out and politely, in a way, well, not so much in a way, kind of said, "Eat me," um, which,
Right.
which was, you know, his way of saying, "Look, if you're going to just screw us over like this, then we're just not going to carry your movies. Deal
Right.
with that." And that, and here's the thing, that's where most of the reporting on it from like actual like TV news stations and whatnot ended. When what happened really just over the course of the next couple hours was Regal jumped on board and said, "Yeah, don't screw us like this. We won't carry movies either." Uh,
Right.
because and because nobody, you know, for as much as everybody keeps saying, "Oh, movie theaters are dying out, movie theaters are dying out," Endgame wouldn't have made $3 billion if it didn't have movie theaters. You'll never
Right.
change my mind on that. F9, the Fast Saga Part 1A, would not do as much money if people are just going to sit around and rent it off Amazon or iTunes as it will in IMAX.
Right.
Just a fact.
Right.
You know, big budget movies. It's why Wonder Woman and Mulan did not go direct to streaming. You know,
Right.
movies still do money in movie theaters. Sorry for
Hmm.
everybody who thinks streaming has dethroned the mega multiplex industrial system. It's not happening anytime soon.
Right.
Uh, so then Shell came out and walked it back in the most just ridiculous way possible, saying people misunderstood his intentions. We're not actually going to be, bucking the established system, blah 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 blah. He got called on it. He said,
Right.
"Hey, we think we can do better." And I don't think he expected the swift and very unforgiving response. I think
Right.
he thought, "Oh, we have the higher ground because one movie that we put out digitally did really good numbers." Let's talk
Hmm.
about, the fact that nobody had any movies coming out because movie theaters are closed, and B, it was a kids movie, so every parent on the planet bought or rented it to keep their kids entertained with something new for 2 hours.
Right.
Like, that was just, it was brilliant for them to put it out on streaming, and they made hella money doing it. But
Hmm.
it was the right product at the right time. And it's not a sustainable business model for a studio like Universal to think they could just go to day and date digital and it would be fine. It wouldn't
Well,
work.
I think it was situational. Like, I
Yeah,
obviously it's the pandemic that so it made sense for that movie to happen the way it did, and for it
sure,
to.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
nobody is mad at Universal for Trolls coming out digitally, or Scoob comes out in a couple days.
Right.
Warner Brothers said, "Look, we had a release date, and instead of bumping it or kicking it down the road, we're going to put it out on digital because this is still going on." Nobody is mad at the studios who had, Artemis Fowl is another one. Artemis Fowl is going to come out on Disney Plus. I think that's going to be a boon for that because I think that movie would have tanked at the box office, so it works out for everybody.
Yeah.
But nobody is mad about movies that were supposed to come out now being pushed to digital services. That is
Right.
completely understandable. But the
Yeah.
idea that we can just do whatever we want with our movies, well, I mean, sure, in a sense, you can. They
Yeah.
are your movies. But if you want to use our services and our theaters to exhibit your movies, you kind of have to play by our rules a little bit.
Right.
And they're even Disney, with as much as they, as documented as they are when it comes to pressuring theaters. There were the reports when what was it, when The Last Jedi came out, where it was like they were basically demanding a bigger chunk of the receipts.
Right.
And nobody was going to tell them no because it was Star Wars.
Right.
You can't, there are very select times you can play that card. And let's be honest, that was also kind of a jerk thing to do.
Yeah.
I'm not sticking up for that in the slightest. But
Hmm.
there are times you can only push that so far.
Right.
When eventually it does behoove you to recognize that big blockbuster type movies are always going to do better in theaters because
Hmm.
nobody has IMAX at home.
Right.
Sorry, it's just not gonna happen. Fast 9 is gonna be better in theaters. The next Ghostbusters movie is gonna be better in theaters. The big movies do better in theaters.
Right.
They're just going to because that's the experience. I
Hmm.
wish smaller budget movies did better. I really do. I'm not entirely opposed to the idea of smaller budget films uh, potentially having lower ticket prices. I think
Yeah.
there's something to be considered there. A standard
Hmm.
movie ticket is like $11 depending on your market. Some places are higher, some places are a little lower. I think that should
Yeah.
be.
I
I
mean, it's kind of like going to a concert. You're going to pay more money to see a giant, big artist than you would if you're going to go see someone that's more indie.
Exactly, or a tribute band. Like
Yep.
or
Yep.
let me rephrase, a reunion, because a lot of reunion tours, I'll put it that way, don't like
Well,
you're gonna pay a hell of a lot more for a Taylor Swift ticket than you are for a Guns N' Roses ticket right now.
right.
Like
Right. Right.
that's but Guns N' Roses was great, yeah, 30 freaking years ago, 40
Right.
years
Right.
ago.
Right.
Like
Yeah. I
it's
mean, like, but even like I think the indie, you're going to pay, you know, $20 to go see an indie band at the local House of Blues.
yeah,
But if you go see, like you said, Taylor Swift, you can pay a couple hundred.
right.
I think that would actually be a good compromise for those studios
And
to
I
be
think
like,
I think that's fair because and especially with premium format tickets, IMAX and Dolby and what's Regal's HDX, there's an upcharge to those.
When
3D.
when do you think they'll do the combination? When do you think they'll do where if you go to the movie theater and you drop, I don't know, $30 or $40, you get to see the movie there and you get a code to watch the movie on digital when it releases?
Never.
Never?
Never.
You don't think they'll ever do that?
Nope, I don't. Because
Well,
I think
what do they have to lose?
the whole idea of, well, I can just wait until it comes out then. I'll wait until
No.
you're
No, the idea is that you're going to the theater. The idea is that you can only get this if you go to the theater and watch it in the theater. You get the ticket price, but you get like a really discounted version and you get the digital code.
But then because the problem is studios want to make money twice. The studio is going to want to make you pay the full price to go see it in the theaters and then pay full price to buy it digitally.
I guess the reason I was thinking that is because that's how digital music, comic books, movies, you get a code when you buy it. So I was just thinking, if you had some sort of relationship with the movie theater where if you paid a little bit of extra, you not only get to see the Avengers, opening night or whatever, but maybe you make it limited. Maybe you make it for like the first weekend. You make it as an incentive to get everybody out there that first weekend. If you go this first weekend, your ticket comes with a code to digitally download it when it releases. Yeah, but that would be major for studios and for the theaters. It'd be packed.
Yes, but
just an idea.
It's a thought, but there are a couple issues with that though. Is that the opening weekend is always the biggest anyway.
Right.
Like that should be almost like a second run deal.
Okay.
It's had a month out, and find a weekend where it's not going to do so great and there's no big competition, and then offer that incentive. If you haven't seen it yet, come out now, blah blah blah. But there's also the idea that then because studios, the business of the movie business is business, so they're not gonna want they're gonna want their take of the box office. And then they're going to want you to say, man, the movie was amazing. I can't wait till it comes out on digital or on Blu-ray or whatever, so that then you go to the store or you go online and you buy it again. They're not gonna lump those two revenue streams together because they're not the sum of the parts will not equal what it would be. It
Hello?
Yeah, I still got you. You there,
Logan?
You don't have me.
Oh yeah. You dipped out.
Oh, no. Oh, I ran away.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, there you go. Okay, yeah, I suddenly you went mute, so I couldn't hear you.
Weird. But.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right. But yeah,
I hear you. That makes sense. Maybe like a second run, like you said. Maybe it's like hey, if you go out, it's been out for a few weeks, but if you go out this weekend, we have like a deal. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of a way to get, because that's what I wonder how much that helps movies or comic book sales, where it's like, nah, you get the digital thing as well.
Well, but there's
how much of an incentive that is to people.
Here's the thing, though, that's a whole other thing, because those codes come with the physical copies you get, so they're not losing anything on.
Yeah.
You've already bought the thing. Here's just a different version of it. It's nothing extra, it's nothing special. You've already bought the thing. That makes sense. It's two between box office and actually owning it are two very different revenue streams. And also,
yeah, you're right.
And here's another thing: exhibitors would hate it, because if you're gonna buy a $30 ticket so you can go see a movie and then get the digital and get a code for a digital pre-order, then that extra money is stuff you don't have to spend on concessions, which is where the exhibitors make their money.
You're right.
So it's an interesting thought, but I don't like. There's too many issues with it. I will say this. I think there's a way to do that with smaller budget films. I think that may be where that idea lands. I think with the blockbusters, you're going to get everybody out there regardless. But I think some of the smaller budget films, I think that's. I think something like anything A24 does. I think there might be a way to do that there. Something that a studio knows is not going to make a lot of money. That might be something to look into that at that instance, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I think it'd be neat.
It's not a terrible idea across the board. I didn't think about with the
Yeah.
and I didn't think about the smaller budget titles, but the ones
Yeah.
that where like we know this is going to be a flop or we know
Yeah.
this thing isn't going to make money. It's not the worst idea in the world.
Yeah, like if A24 was just like, hey, come see our movie this weekend, and we'll give you this extra. You'll be able to download it digitally on any platform you want later on. Because I mean, I don't know. I think it'd be dope. Or rent it, maybe like a rental. Like here's a code to rent it.
Yeah.
But that'd probably be easier for him. Cool. What else we got? We got some Universal news. We got, what is this, G.I. Joe?
Yeah, they're developing a reboot because of course they are.
How were there were two movies, right?
There were two, and there are going to be two moving forward. This is not going to compromise the Snake Eyes spinoff that has been in production forever.
What?
Yeah, they did G.I. Joe, and then they did Rise of Cobra, and then they talked about and they actually put in pre-production a spinoff about Snake Eyes. And
is it going to be Ray Park?
I don't know. I hope so.
Was it Ray Park that did Snake Eyes?
It was. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
But that was talked about. It was in pre-production. I think it's still somewhere in the development process. But it's been a while since I've heard anything about it. The last thing I heard was when they announced this reboot, it would be it's not the Snake Eyes movie. That is a separate production. So
Ray Park's not going to be in it. It's going to be Henry Golding from Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh, didn't he was in, wasn't he Snake Eyes?
I thought Ray Park was Snake Eyes.
No.
Or was he maybe I'm getting the characters mixed up because I don't know the G.I. Joe characters.
Yeah, because I am too. I'm pretty sure he was the evil one. I can't remember. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, that's right. He was the evil version of Snake Eyes. That's right.
No, wait. He was Snake Eyes.
I just remember.
He was.
Oh, okay. I remember there were two characters that looked similar.
Yeah, there was.
I don't know.
There was Snake Eyes and the evil Snake Eyes, who I cannot remember a character's name. I'm sorry. But no, Ray Park did play Snake Eyes. So are they just I guess they're just recasting him. It's a bummer.
Yeah. Storm Shadow, is that the other guy?
I maybe.
I don't know. I never played with. Yeah, I think Storm Shadow was the. It was like all in white.
Yeah, it's Storm Shadow.
Yeah. So I don't know. Cool. Yeah, G.I. Joe. What else we got?
There's LeBron James confirmed the Space Jam sequel. He had a hat. I like
That's right.
I like the title. I kind of like the title, Space Jam: A New Legacy. I'm okay with that over Space Jam 2 or something like that. I'm good with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
this next thing though I thought looked awesome.
Yeah.
Lovecraft Country.
Yeah. It's gonna be weird. I mean, it's Jordan Peele and J.J. Abrams, so it's gonna be weird. Yeah. It's gonna be weird creatures hunting black people in racist country. Like that's gonna be the show basically, and I'm kind of here for that. Like it's gonna be really bizarre. But thank God it's on HBO.
Right. It's produced by Monkey Paw Productions and Bad Robots, so it's like a collaboration between like you said, Jordan Peele and J.J. Abrams, which is an awesome.
It's a great pairing
combination.
Yeah.
Misha Green is going to be the showrunner for it. Dude, it looks awesome. It, like you said, it's a mixture of the H.P. Lovecraft stuff, but also like the racist stuff that's kind of surrounding his work.
Yeah.
That it's gonna be very interesting to see. I think it's gonna be good. HBO just knocking it out of the park with that trailer. That's I think that's in August, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
So that should be good.
Yeah.
That should be good.
I'm excited just because I really think they were like, who were the two most creative people they can think of, and they came up with J.J. Abrams and Jordan Peele and just said, great, let's get them together, and here you go. And I think this is kind of like it would take, because everybody's wanted something genuinely Lovecraft forever, and it's always been like nobody's really been able to tap it, and it's like it didn't just take two people, it took these two. Like, it makes sense that if you were like, we're going to do something really Lovecraftian, it would take these two particular producers to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I'm excited. It's gonna be weird and creepy and interesting, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We've already talked about the Star Wars, the new Disney series.
Yeah.
By the Russian doll creator. What's this National Treasure news?
So, we already know that they're doing a National Treasure 3. That was talked about. We talked about that a couple months ago. And it's in the pre-production stage. They're also doing a Disney Plus series. It's not going to star Nicolas Cage. It's going to be somebody different. And it's going to run kind of parallel to the movie, and there was talk about maybe blending them down the road or what have you. But so for everybody who's waiting for
that actor is Shia LaBeouf. I'm just kidding. Who would you want to take over the National Treasure series?
I'm going to be honest with you. Shia LaBeouf is not the worst answer in the world.
I know. I said it as a joke, but then I thought, what? I like the work that he's been doing.
The more you think about it, you saw Honey Boy, right?
Not Honey Boy, but I did see God, I was gonna say Oh Brother We're Out There, but that's not it.
No.
Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yeah. Yeah, between
it's
that
kind
and
of country, kind of.
Yeah. Watch Honey Boy. I think Honey Boy's on Amazon Prime.
Awesome. Yes, I'll check it out. Yeah,
absolutely check it out. It's good. It's really, you can definitely tell like this was, because the narrative of it is, this was the script he wrote when he was in rehab, and it, and then he was like, hey, we can make this a movie. And it very much, like, you can absolutely see like, oh yeah, no, this was clearly a therapy session as a script.
Yeah.
And it's so good. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
But cool. Honestly, that's not the worst idea on the planet.
Yeah.
Oh man, I had somebody and I lost it. I don't know. Come back to me. I'll remember it eventually. Probably not.
Yeah.
There's a piece of TV news that's not on here. That I can't believe I forgot to put on here. IMDb is doing kind of has their own channel. Their own streaming channel now, and right now it's largely just commercial. It's basically just like a Hulu with ads, in a sense.
Yeah.
But they have some good stuff on there. I think they just added Lost to it.
Oh wow!
But there's there's a handful of actual it's not just we dug up cool. Old shows that nobody really charges a lot for the rights to. There's actually really good stuff on there. And I think it's a free channel entirely. I know it's included with Amazon Prime, but it's got ads. So I think IMDb TV is a free streaming channel.
Okay.
Because of the ads. But one of the series that they have on there that I encourage absolutely everyone to check out is a show called Leverage. Came out a handful of years ago. It was on TNT. It's it's basically it's kind of it's Robin Hood-ish in a sense. It's a group of thieves steal from corrupt rich people, blah blah blah. It's kind of a trite pitch, but the characters of it are what make it a fantastic show. Ran 5 seasons. And it's really really good. And TNT at the time was doing the the half season episode orders. So each season I think is only 10-12 episodes. Absolutely worth the watch. I loved it when it came out. It was fantastic. IMDb TV has it on their service. The numbers they've been very open about it's one of their most streamed shows. So one of their their in-house production under Amazon Studios as a banner, they're doing a follow-up series to Leverage.
Oh,
and
nice.
they've confirmed most of the old cast is returning for it, and I am tremendously hyped.
Oh, wow.
The A couple of standout names from it. Aldous Hodge is on it. He was on. He was. Oh, help me out here. He was, I think, MC Ren in Straight Outta Compton. He's been on.
Oh, wow.
He's been on and in a couple of other things. Since Leverage, his star has gradually started to come up, which is great because he is fantastic. Mark Shepard is also on this. Mark Shepard, who was always, that evil British guy in freaking everything. He was Crowley on Supernatural. He was.
I see Jerry Ryan and Will Wheaton's in it as well.
Will Wheaton has a recurring guest role. He's fantastic.
Gotcha.
He's an evil hacker. He's great. He's
okay.
Hilarious. It's fantastic. Jerry Ryan is a season 2 regular, and then has a couple guest spots after. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think if there was somebody else. But it's great because there's a lot of Brett Spiner guest stars on an episode. And cool. I think it's because Jonathan Frakes directed some of the episodes.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
There's a lot of Star Wars connections or Star Trek connections. God, I can't believe I did that. There's a couple Star Wars connections too, but
yeah,
it's a really good show, and I absolutely recommend anybody check it out. IMDb TV has it on there, all 5 seasons, and the ads are short. It's like here's like a minute and a half of ads. So
yeah. I was looking at their Wikipedia, and there were some weird facts on it.
Oh yeah,
I guess it's saying that it was shot in Red One video cameras, but it was all edited in Apple's Final Cut Pro.
Yeah.
So I don't know why any of that information's on there.
Because things like that are odd. Like Final Cut Pro it's just kind of one of those where you just go, okay, that's sure you can do that. Pretty much, I mean, it's kind of a thing where everybody just talks about the Avid because Avid is the standard editing everything. So when anything's not done on that, it's always a little odd.
Right.
But it was TNT. Yeah. It's fairly low-ish budget. Like, it's not tremendously extravagant. It's a drama. It's a heist drama. Every episode is a heist. Right. And I think that's why I loved it, because every episode is a heist. It's fabulous. I really, really, I can't recommend that show highly enough. It's so good.
Yeah, it says extensive use of the Steadicam helped the audience participate in the scene. So I don't know, it's cool. Sounds cool.
Definitely worth checking out if you've got time. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Speaking of TNT, I saw they had a show that a Snowpiercer show.
Yeah,
based on that universe.
Yeah, based on. I forgot his name. That's terrible. Dude just won every Academy Award, and I can't remember his damn name. Because that was what blew me away. I didn't make that connection at first. I was just like, oh, cool. When he was winning everything for Parasite, and I was just like, all right, that's awesome, blah, blah, blah. And then when I saw that he did Snowpiercer, I was like, oh, this suddenly makes a lot more sense. Bong Joon-ho. I had to
Bong
look it up.
Joon-ho, yeah.
TNT's been working on this for a while now, and it's finally I think it comes out this week?
Cool.
I think it comes out this week.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious to see how that works as a TV show. That's because it's an interesting concept. I love the concept, but and it worked really well as a movie. So I'm curious to see how they do it as a TV show. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Cool. All right, what else we got? We got some WWE news.
Yeah, so there's not going to be a traditional 2K game this year, largely because 2K20 was a giant disaster for so long. It's now $20 on sale everywhere. They fixed the game breaking stuff. So if you're it's worth it for $20. I picked it up. I don't hate it. I don't feel like I wasted money. But I would not have paid $60. I wouldn't have paid $60, I think, for the current fixed version. I definitely would have felt cheated if I'd bought it at launch with all the crap that went on. I'm serious.
Oh yeah.
So they've decided to not do that. Instead, they have granted your wish and mine to do a 2K Battlegrounds game, which is basically just a giant ridiculous arcade style game.
Hmm.
So excited for this. Comes out this fall, and I'm
Yes.
very because it does. It looks ridiculous and arcadey and fun, and I'm hyped.
See, I agree with you to an extent. I think it looks like trash, but we've been asking for this kind of game, right? This more arcadey kind of game. I think it looks terrible. Like I think the way it looks, oh, it
It
looks
looks
rough.
it looks like an old it looks like an old style arcade game. I think it's great. It's not
I
meant.
almost wish that they did make it look older, like Nintendo 64 older,
That's
because it's
eh,
too plastically. I don't know. I feel like the proportions are just so out of proportion.
yeah.
Where it went above. It's like for these kind of games you do want things to be weirdly out of proportion, but it's like they left that meter go a little bit too much.
There is a little bit, yeah. Like the arms are too
That's all.
long. Like they're a little
Yeah,
they're a little weird.
it's a bit odd, but I like didn't you say it's gonna be more of a budget title? Probably it's not gonna be like a, or do you think it'd be like a $60 game?
I don't know, man. They very well could make this a $60 game. I'm hoping it's 40. I can see 40,
Yeah.
but I really think they're gonna go 60 with it, man. Because
They're gonna have a hard time getting people back to getting these games with the disaster of the last game.
yeah, 2K20, especially when the fact
It's
that
gonna
when it turned 2020, the game actually broke, and that was something they had to fix. Like when they
right.
had an actual Y2K moment. That
W
was
W WWE's had some disasters in the last 6 months.
yeah.
One cool thing that happened, well, for her, is the man became the mom, right?
Yep, the man is going to be a mommy. I'm excited.
Which is great. Yeah, I'm excited for her, but the WWE just lost their biggest attraction right there.
Yeah, no
But
kidding.
good for her.
But yeah,
it's
did you see
What
the opening for Raw last night? Did you see that segment?
I didn't know. No, how did it go?
It was really well done. She came out and had the Money in the Bank briefcase that Asuka won the other night. We'll talk about Money in the Bank here in a minute. But
I didn't watch any of it.
you didn't watch any of Money in the Bank?
I had no idea it was on until like that Sunday, but it was Mother's Day, right?
Yes, that's fair.
Yeah, so I haven't seen it. I'm gonna see it. We can still talk about it though. I know the results of some of the matches, so it's fine.
Watch. It's actually a fairly decent show, and it's short. It's like not even 2.5 hours.
Oh, that's good.
And the Money in the Bank match is ridiculous, and it's like it's kind of goofy, but not in a harmful way. It's not like, oh my god, this is too silly. What did they do? It's like, this is sure, I get this. I know what they were doing here. I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
But so Becky comes out and she's got the Money in the Bank briefcase that Asuka won, and she's talking about like, this is she's really happy, but she's really sad. And Asuka comes out and Becky's telling her like, hey, look, congratulations, you won the Money in the Bank, but you didn't win what you thought you did.
Right.
You haven't been able to open this case because there's a combination, so I'm going to open it for you, and opens the case, and there's the Raw Women's title. And it's like, this is what you were actually competing for. I have to step away for a while. You are the champion. You won this. And Asuka celebrates. She's very happy, and Becky is you can see she's happy and sad at the same time, as she would be. She's conflicted. And it's very real, and that's what was great. And she's like, so you go, she's literally passing that to Asuka and saying, so you defend this title, you be the champion that I know you can be, that everybody knows she can be because of what she did in NXT. But she's like, go be the champion I know you can be. You go be a warrior, and I'm gonna go be a mother. And it's great because Asuka has just a very real reaction, and she is so like, it's a whole big like very happy moment and everything. It's really, really great. It's definitely something to look at. I'm sure it's up on WWE's YouTube page already.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's really great. It feels like a genuine moment. Like it feels
awesome.
very, very real, and it's so cool. And Charlie was going to interview her backstage, and like the whole roster comes out to congratulate her. And it doesn't feel staged. It doesn't feel forced or anything. It just feels absolutely real. Even R-Truth is serious, so you know it can't be real staged. But like, it's great. It was a really great moment. And then they would interview Shayna Baszler a couple times through the night, and Shayna did the exact right thing she needed to do, which was stand there and say, how stupid do you have to be on top of the company and get knocked up?
Oh my
God.
Like
what she takes that hard heel left turn, and it's fantastic. I loved it.
That's great.
Because she's this is the easiest heat you can possibly get, and she just grabs that and runs with it. It's great.
Good. Yeah, that's what you need to do. So Becky, it wasn't a retirement speech.
No, it was just I obviously am not going to be able to compete for a while. So
right. So okay, so WWE, it's gonna be an interesting year.
It's already been an interesting year.
Yeah. I definitely want to see this this Money in the Bank. I heard like the ladder, like it was at the top of the building, or it took place. It
started in the lobby, and then there were just like random. Yep.
No, go ahead. I
was gonna say they just fought on random floors until they got to the roof. It
just sounds like a cartoon.
It kind of is. There's a giant food fight between the men and the women because they both meet up at this like commissary area where Paul Heyman is having this banquet for himself for no reason.
This sounds awesome. It sounds like them taking advantage of the situation.
Yes,
in a good way.
There's a couple of things that don't quite land. They do some cameo appearances where you're just like, that was really just awkward or bizarre in ways that didn't quite work, but I really think overall it works. They are really committed to just making Dana Brooke look absolutely stupid though, and I hate that. Like you'll
wonder why.
So do I. Because for a while she'd actually been on a, and that's the other things, like this came out of nowhere. Like she had been, she won a qualifying match to get into Money in the Bank. She had been serious. She and Carmella had been a halfway effective tag team. And she literally slips on a wet floor and bonks her head, and she's never seen in the match again.
Wow.
After grabbing the wrong Money in the Bank briefcase and being told off by Stephanie McMahon in footage that is clearly edited in from where she recorded it at her house. It doesn't. There are some moments that don't quite work, but I really think overall, as a whole segment, I actually think it worked really well. It was like, look, this is the best way to do this, and I think they were right. I think it was great.
Cool. Yeah, I gotta check it out. I gotta check it out because that's kind of what I've been asking for. Like, hey, if you take advantage of this weird situation, the whole Raw and SmackDown, I lost interest in just because it just was weird to watch.
That's fair.
But this sounds really interesting. Like, hey, let's just like climb the corporate ladder by literally going floor to floor. That's what you do.
Yeah. It's
that's fun.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. It did, like I said, it didn't all work, but I think overall it's a good. They said, look, we've got this concept for a match. How do we do this? And then they were like, well, what if we like kind of die-harded it in a way? It's like, all right, but then what else do we do? Well, let's add all this other stuff. And like I said, some of it works, some of it not so much, but overall, it's definitely one of the more entertaining things they've done, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Raw last night was great. They did a pre-tape segment where the Street Profits literally balled against the Viking Raiders.
Oh wow!
They had a 2-on-2 basketball game, and I cringed watching it because it showed the Viking Raiders is like when they passed, like they rolled it to each other. And it was like, and it was this thing where I was like, oh my god, this is awful. Because the whole thing with the Viking Raiders, like calling out the Street Profits was like, anything you can do, we can do better. And the Prophets are putting points on the board, and the Raiders just can't, like, they can't shoot to save their lives and this stuff. They score one basket. The final score is like 76-2 or something. And you're just like, they absolutely buried this team. What the hell? And then one of them goes up to the Street Profits and just goes, we let you win, right? They're like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. And then cut to both of the Viking Raiders just nothing but netting half-court shots. Or it's like, oh no, they actually did just let them win. Okay. It's that segment where as you watch it, it's just like, oh, this is awful. This is terrible. Yeah. What is this? And then the end payoff is just kind of like, oh, actually that was kind of clever. It works if you watch the whole thing. It was hard to get through, and I was like, why are they doing this to them? Why are they doing this to these guys? And then at the end, you're like, oh, wait, that's why. Because they're clever. They're playing these mind games. I get that. I respect that. Okay, that's... Yeah. It's a little weird in the presentation. I'm not sure I dig it. But I like what they were going with, anyway.
Okay.
But...
yeah, I gotta check it out. Gotta check it out.
So that was fun. Yeah, definitely check out the Money in the Bank match. Like, it was something. And like I said, I dug it. I thought it was neat.
Yeah. I will. Let's see what else we got here. We got Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remaster.
I'm so hyped, man. Soundtrack and all. Best soundtrack. Hands down.
Yeah. Best
soundtrack. Loved it. I'm excited.
Yeah.
And it's not just an upscale. Like, this is a full, like, they remade these games. And I'm down for it. I'm very, very down for it. September 4th.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. And I imagine this is going to be a $40 bundle. Like, I don't see this being $60.
Yeah, hopefully. I imagine this is hey, if you guys buy this and like it, we will do another one in a similar fashion. And hopefully it's not the disaster of the last Tony Hawk. I can't imagine it is. Just remaster this, make it current, which it seems like they're doing with the music and everything, and they're just making it current gen. Yeah. But if you make it feel good like that Tony Hawk did, you man, don't get crazy. Don't do a bunch of weird stuff. Just a simple skating game. Like I'm excited. I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
And the thing with those kind of games is you can keep the gameplay super simple, like how it is. And if you want to well, maybe I shouldn't say this. I was gonna say if you want to monetize it later on, you do a season pass, like Call of Duty. I'm just saying, like.
Well, you can.
Yeah. I think there's an argument to be made if you wanted to pay $10 for 3 months, and you grinded and you did all of this stuff in the game to unlock clothes and to unlock stuff like that. That is a better way than loot boxes and stuff like that. I'm just saying. I like single player games where you don't have all that extra stuff. But dude, I've been enjoying the hell out of Call of Duty, and I love the season pass on it. I think that is the sweet spot where you get all this extra content and it's all cosmetic, and it's $10 for 3 months.
That's fair.
I'm just saying that if they do move forward, I hope that if they're going to monetize it, they go that route, because I think that would be perfect for a game like that.
That's fair.
You just like all those like, suddenly you get I'm trying to think of now the skateboarding companies, like you get the Bam Margera stuff, you get the what is it, Oasis or whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I forget the name of the Echo shirts or whatever. Mm-hmm. You get those brands on board, and that would be a fun way to, like, I don't know.
It could work,
get a Johnny Knoxville skin.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That's fair.
Spider-Man skin. I don't know, whatever.
God, that was old school. That was Pro Skater 2, wasn't it, where you had Spider-Man?
Yep. Cool. Yeah. So, dude, that's no brainer. Gonna be picking that one up.
Yeah.
Can't wait. I think we talked a little bit about it before, but The Last of Us 2 is June 19th.
Yeah.
They announced. Ghost of Tsushima July 17th.
Yeah.
And Vader Immortal is summertime.
Yeah, Vader Immortal, the VR game, going to be coming to PSVR this summer. Ghost of Tsushima, I know they're doing a gameplay trailer reveal thing on Thursday, on the 14th. Okay. So that will be something to watch. I'll be excited for that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, because that game,
Absolutely, man.
I like, The Last of Us Part 2, we know what we're getting into, yada yada, etc., etc. But like Ghost of Tsushima just looks like I'm excited. It looks like a newer version of Bushido Blade, and
Yeah,
I
it's a new
like,
property.
yeah,
It's exciting.
I'm here for it. I'm in.
Yeah, yeah, me too, man. It's exciting. It's brand new property. I love the edge, everything about it, the aesthetic, everything just looks great.
Yeah.
So that looks awesome. But I think that's it, dude. I think that's it. We'll be back next week. I think we gotta nail down a time. I know schedules have been funky, but it's been fun. I really enjoy this. I'm gonna be sending you some comics, so hopefully we'll spend a big chunk talking about Venom next week.
Yeah.
And some Spider-Man. I'm excited.
I'll see whatever they've got on Prime Reading. I might try to dig
Oh
into
yeah,
something. I don't need. Well, I might do that for something else, but I forgot I have Marvel Unlimited. I always forget about that.
there you go,
'Cause
dude. A lot of this stuff is on it. A
There's
lot of this
there's
is
a
on Unlimited.
there's a ton of it on Unlimited. There's a lot that's not, but there's more that's on than isn't. Because a lot.
Yeah,
of,
I think this Venom stuff is definitely on it. I think.
Yeah, I would imagine so. There's a weird chunk. Like what's new comes out. I mean, I know there's a delay of however many months before the new stuff comes out on it. I get that.
I think
It
it's
makes
6
perfect sense.
months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a weird, like somewhere in the mid 2000s, it seems like there's just a weird void
Oh.
that like I've run into with a handful of comics where it's just like there's a big chunk of stuff that's just like not there's like some of these comics are just not there, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if maybe they just haven't gotten them all scanned in and whatnot yet. But because I know that's got to be a project and a half with the billions of comics they've done throughout the years.
Right.
There's
Right.
so it's weird. It's almost everything, but it's not actually everything. And it's what, like $70 a year. Like I mean, it's absolutely worth it
Yeah.
if you're big on comics.
Absolutely.
And I don't read enough to justify it, and that's on me because there's so much good stuff on there. But
Yeah.
because I think they've just finished. Like I think War of the Realms is finally all on there now and everything. So
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and that was a big. I mean, that was the beginning of last year, and that was a big crossover event. So,
yeah,
but yeah, man, it's cool. It's cool. There's a lot of great stuff on it. I'm excited. I'm excited to dive more into this Venom stuff. I thought it was cool that they use Ultimate Spider-Man as the Spider-Man in the story. Like it makes sense. Like if you remember what happened with Miles Morales and his mom and everything else, it ties in great. Like it makes sense story-wise.
yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll get a lot to talk about next week. We'll get more into some Persona. But yeah, make sure you go to our YouTube, We Geek Podcast, Twitter at We Geek Podcast, at The Logan Witt, at Adam Estep. Our Gmail, WeGeekPodcast@gmail.com. Send them some questions. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Captain.